Whether it is wind, solar, or a new gas line, lawmakers are getting pressure to find a solution to try to reduce the high electricity rates here in Connecticut. In addition to that wind farm getting started, we also learned this week that the top regulator overseeing the power companies abruptly resigned. And there are 2 rate requests coming in the coming months from Eversource and United Illuminating. So what happens now? Representative Tracy Marra joins us, Republican from Darien, ranking member on energy and technology. Welcome back. Good to see you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. So first up, you hear the chair steps down of Pura. What was your first reaction?
Well, honestly, I think it's been a long time coming. I think the writing has been on the wall. I think there were issues with even getting her reappointed. And we just need to move past this. There's been so much contentious back and forth between the regulator and utility companies.
There were lawsuits in the offing?
It just needs to stop, and we need to come together, work together, and move forward.
So we know that two rate cases are coming. They ask for more money each year. Now there's only 2 regulators on the board. What happens? Is it legal? Is there a quorum there? How does that move forward, and what do we do?
Right. So, yeah, there's going to be back and forth a little bit. I mean, certainly the regulators think that it's legal for them to move forward. We do understand, I don't speak obviously for the governor's office, but we do understand that they are moving forward with making sure that we get extra commissioners on board. But, you know, coming from the utilities, they're going to be pretty upset by this. So I think it behoves the executive branch to really get people in place really soon. And we should have seen this coming. We should have had those positions filled already, and we wouldn't be in this mess, unfortunately.
So among those floated, former Representative Holly Cheeseman, so there's Republicans possibly joining the board, some Democrats joining the board, some other people who have legislative experience and legal experience. Do you have any opinions on any of the ones of the names that are being floated at this point?
I don't have an opinion on who's coming forward. What I do have an opinion on is that it needs to be thoughtful, and we need to have people that come from various backgrounds. So fine, if you have someone coming from a legislative background, you do need to probably have someone that comes from the financial side. You need to have all kinds of people on a board. When you look at putting a board together, this goes with any case, you should look at a diverse group of people that are coming together that have diverse background.
Now, it's the governor's responsibility to appoint these people to the board.
Yes.
There's a space for 5 chairs. There was only 3 for a long time. Now there's 2. What's the number? What's the right number, would you say?
The number is the legal number, which is 5.
5.
You should follow the law, and that's what the law says.
And it seemed as if it was not reaching that point. So let's go back to Revolution Wind for a minute, that farm where the Trump administration issued that stop work order. They said because of national security concerns. Now, the judge this week said there's no evidence of that. The fact that this is 80% done and it's going to be finished and eventually come online, is that good news in your opinion?
Yeah. Yes, it's good news. I mean, you've got something 80% done. It's just going to be a sunk cost if we don't finish that and use it. And I think, you know, looking forward, I think we do have a good power purchase agreement with Revolution Wind. And it's still going to be twice as much as nuclear. It's still going to be at this point 3 times as much as gas. But when you look at renewables on the whole, I think it's probably a good deal for Connecticut. So and it's almost done. We should just finish it.
Right. So are you a proponent of all options on the table? Because the chief from the Nuclear Regulatory Commission was in Connecticut this week. We were talking about how we were going to take care of that kind of material. But he also kind of floated the idea, look, it's time to start permitting for more nuclear. What do you think? Right.
Yes, the all options on the table. However, we do need to be thoughtful. Like when we're trying to look at reliability and what we're trying to get to in the future, we need good base load. And when we look at good base load, it's not something you necessarily look at wind or solar for.
Right.
So making sure that nuclear is in the picture, I think, is a really good idea. And I know that that's what we're moving forward with here in Connecticut, which I think is exciting.
Do you have any opinions on how and where that could happen? Some say we should do small generators so we can have data centers across the state. Others say we should add something to Millstone. When you look at that picture, what do you think?
Well, you know, the nice thing is how we passed the law this year is yes, you can allow it on the property already at Millstone, and there's some capacity there that we could add small nuclear. But in the laws we passed it, we're making it easier across the board. If municipalities want to do something in their community, then they can. And there's actually funding in this bill that we passed up to $5 million, I believe it was, for siting of nuclear.
And when you see the director of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission in here, and we signed an agreement.
That's great.
That's the state of Connecticut working with the Trump administration, which might shock people at some point, the way the conversation has been until now.
This is how it's got to work. We all have to work together. We got to put partisan stuff aside and work for the betterment of Connecticut. Right now, Connecticut is dealing with high rates, and we need to come together and help them.
What do you think is the biggest first step to try to make that happen? Is it?
Yeah, so what we passed in this bill is already to look at the public benefits and line item. I think education is key for people to understand. They have been told over and over that nuclear is 70% of the public benefits portion, and that is wrong. And if anybody tells you that, you should ask them where their primary source of it is. And if it shouldn't be a he said, she said,
right.
You should be able to show the document, because you're looking at the 6 to 7%. But there's a lot more in there. There's a lot more power purchase agreements. There's a lot more solar. And we
got to make it line items so people can understand it.
We need to, yes, people need to understand, and they need to get the truth. And we really need to educate people, but the legislature needs to they need to educate themselves. And I'm hoping that happens with the OCC looking at the line item of the public benefits.
Representative Marra, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.